Good, wherever you want.
Alright, and I'm going to be just right here. So, Jerry, tell me
Yes.
a little bit about what you are doing here today.
Well, I'm here in Youngstown because I'm the toastmaster of a roast for the Democratic Party chairman, David Beatrice, and so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of local public figures here at the roast, and basically I can make fun of all of them.
Who's your favorite to make fun of?
Oh well, the party chairman. It's got a lot of material. I've always told David he ought to be on my show. Yeah.
Do you want to give us a little sample of what's to come tonight?
No, but he'll be on the show next Tuesday.
Will he?
Yeah, he used to be a woman. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just kidding. See, it's going to be that kind of a roast. Yeah.
And these kinds of things, they're all usually done in good fun and everyone's
Oh, sure,
class.
sure. And, the idea, because the joking aside, there's a very serious election coming up.
And we just talked about politics.
Yeah, and it's really about the future of the country. It's singularly the most important election in my lifetime, by far. I mean, because this is the first election which isn't about whether it's a Democrat or a Republican or a liberal or conservative. I believe, and this is my point of view, that this is the first time, with Donald Trump, that you actually have someone running for president that in a sense has no business running. Not because, I don't know, he could be a very nice person for all I know. But he has never ever run even a township. He's never been a township trustee. You can't, as your first political job, ever say, gee, I'd like to be president of the United States and leader of the free world. It's almost a sign of disrespect for our country to have someone who's never done any of this suddenly say, I'll be the leader for the world. And I think that's why all the past Republican presidents who are still alive, or the Republican leadership, that's why they're even backing away. So on this election, if you are a Republican, you are a conservative, I honestly think you just got to suck it up for this 4 years and say, okay, we'll come back 4 years from now. But on this one, you can't seriously believe that he should be president of the United States. We've got to think more of a country than that.
You've got your own political experience as well as mayor of Cincinnati. Can you
Sure.
talk a little bit about your own experience and how it sort of helps you form an opinion about this sort of thing?
Well, politics has always been my passion. I make my living in show business. But for 10 years, I was city councilman, mayor of Cincinnati, and I've always been very active politically. I support not just financially, but also giving speeches around the country, and particularly here in Ohio. This was my home for 35 years. So, this is really important. I mean, I'm an immigrant. I came over when I was 5, but my parents were, Holocaust survivors. My family, most of them were wiped out in the camps. So coming to America, the Statue of Liberty really meant something to us. And someone I'm so involved in this campaign because someone who so disparages the whole concept of the Statue of Liberty, wants to metaphorically replace it with a wall, to be so anti-immigrant, anti-Hispanic, anti-Muslim, anti-African American, whatever your group is, whatever your nationality. They used to say this about the Italians, and then they used to say this about the Irish. And, so we can't sit by when any religious or ethnic group is being discriminated against or is being ripped on. That's not what America's about. America's about is we're a welcoming nation. You have a criminal record. If you commit crimes, you'll pay for them. But there's not a test to come to America that you've got to be the right religion or your parents have to have been from the right country. No, that's not America.
What is America to you?
America is the only nation on earth that was ever created by an idea. Every single country on this planet, except for America, started out as a tribe or an ethnic group, a monarchy, a king that owned some land and then moved and got bigger and bigger and became an empire, tried to find a waterway for trade. But America was first an idea, and then they decided to build a country around the idea. The idea is articulated in the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, as represented, manifested in the Statue of Liberty. That's America. The idea that it didn't matter what your religion was, where you were from, what kind of wealth you had, what your ethnic group was, what the color. Come to America, you can be free here and aspire to be whatever you want to be. That's America, not a wall.
Switching gears a little bit.
Yeah.
You told me you were doing this show for 26 years now.
Yes.
You've probably.
I'd like to apologize.
You seem to be a little bit self-deprecating about it, but you've obviously.
Have you seen it? There's reason to be. Yeah.
You've obviously seen and heard some incredible, maybe some bizarre stories. Does any one stick out to you in all of your years of doing
Well,
this?
they're all stupid. The show is about outrageous behavior. For example, if I were hired to host a show about basketball, then everyone on my show every day would be a basketball player or a coach. So if I'm hired to host a show about dysfunctional behavior, then I realize every day they're going to hand me some dysfunctional, crazy story. I don't think anything gets crazy. The guy who married his horse, you can't get crazier than that. So I know I'm going to see that side of life when I do the show, but that's what makes it interesting and fascinating. It's just like when you do the news. You're covering all kinds of lifestyles when you do the news. You cover murders, rapes, wars, horrible activity, horrible behavior. But that's your job. If I were a judge, I couldn't say, I don't want any criminals coming before me because I don't like crime. No, you're the judge. You're supposed to hear the cases. Well, I'm a host of a show about dysfunctional personal relationships, so I know I'm going to get it every day.
Like how you can relate it to journalism. So, are you a little bit worried that
I used to be a news anchor for 10 years.
What have you not done?
I was a male dancer. No, I wasn't.
Oh my gosh, all right.
Yeah.
Another
You heard it
interview.
here
No,
first.
yeah, nothing.
A separate interview for that one.
Yeah, no, I went from, for 10 years I was a city councilman and mayor, and then for the next 10 years I was hired by NBC to host, to anchor their news. So I anchored the news, the Cincinnati NBC affiliate, for 10 years. The company that owned the station where I did the news also owned talk shows. Phil Donahue, Sally Jessy Raphael. So Phil was retiring, so they assigned me to host a talk show, and then it suddenly took off. But that's how that happened.
So your career kind of happened backwards as it usually is today. Usually people get the journalism gig and then they get out of the business and maybe want to run for office, but you did it almost the opposite.
Yeah, well, my passion is politics. As I said, these other things have been jobs. And I enjoy my jobs, but it's not what I live for. Other than my family, what I live for are these political issues because my family was a victim of politics. So therefore, it's not just a hobby. It's something that I'm always conscious about. And I guess the thing I get really intense about is anything that even smacks of discrimination, because we were the victims of it, so I know what it feels like. And so, I'm never going to be silent if I see that.
Anything we haven't asked you? Anything you want to add? Or
Well, if you want to give me a couple of bucks, I'd appreciate that.
listen,
I have expenses.
how much is this interview costing us?
Yeah, no.
Do I have to pay out of pocket here? No, hold on.
No, I'm good.
All right.
All good.
Good.
All right, I think that does it for us.
Thank you.
All right.
Very
Very
good.
much.
Good question.
Thank you very much.
Yep.